Computer. All right, happy Monday. It is the 13th. I always have to think about what day it is now these days. I don't know if any of you are doing the same thing, but it is our April monthly PS team call, and I'm so thankful that you guys could get on early. Usually we do our team calls at 8 p.m. Eastern, but today we have a really special guest, and 8 p.m. Eastern is like 1 in the morning her time, and I was like, that's really not gonna work. So I was like, let's just move it up for this month, but I'm excited to have my friend Steph join us for today. But before we get started, I wanted to go over a couple quick announcements and some celebrations and recognition, but I wanted to drop this bomb on you today. So I just purchased the Legacy Leadership Academy with Bob Healig. I just purchased the year membership. And one of the things, I just started the trainings today, and one of the things that he was talking about in one of the videos was where we are right now and what a beautiful and unique opportunity that we have right now to be a bright light in people's lives. And so his mission is love, serve, and grow. And that's what he teaches coaches and network marketers to do. But the nugget that I took away from one of his trainings, from what he said was, I will never be more worthy or deserving of what I want in my life than I am at this very moment. So what we do right now, if we want to change our future results, we have to change our beliefs about ourselves today. And I thought that was so incredibly powerful. And then it kind of rolls into what Steph's going to be talking about on our call. But I really just wanted to share that. I will never be more worthy or deserving of what I want in my life than I am in this very moment. And I know for me, that's going to be one of my new affirmations that's going in my Think Up. And because that's something that I want to repeat to myself over and over and over again, because I want to change my future, but it's got to start with today. So just wanted to drop that on you. So some quick announcements. Got to give some welcomes to our March and April before this call new coaches. Nicole Stallworth is new. We got Katie Gettinger, Christina Endicott, Katiana Charles, and Rachel Hunter. And then Lacey, who is on our call today. Lacey literally messaged me like 10 minutes ago and was like, I'm ready, girl. And I was like, well, come on and get on this team call, girlfriend. So Lacey, we're welcoming you to the team too. Super excited that you are here. I'll fill you in on Lacey later in our group because she's pretty incredible. Got to give out a shout out to our March rock stars. We had, let's see, I had SC12, so I helped change 6 lives. Shelly had 4 SC, so she helped change 2 lives. Tina, John, and LJ each changed a life. That's awesome. And then our top recruiters for March, I recruited 4, Shelly, Tina, LJ, and John each recruited 1. So keep it up. It all starts with belief in yourself and just sharing value. And actually, Steph's going to talk a lot about that today, how to do it during this time. Some important dates to know. Today actually started our weekly 15-minute mentor calls. The Google document that you can edit is in each of the team threads. So if you're in the new coach pod or you're in the Emerald to Diamond pod, the Google sheet is in there. Add yourself to one of those. As of now, we are only doing the calls on Monday, but there's a few different calls, 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the evening. Just pick one that works best for you. This will be a 15-minute call, a mentor call directly with me. And depending on where you're at in your business, we're gonna be setting weekly goals, as well as looking at some actionable items to take into your business. Tomorrow, we have our new coach get started right kickoff call. If you just enrolled as a coach from our last call in March, up until now, you're going to want to be on this kickoff call tomorrow. It's going to be on Micah Zoom, and I'll make sure that I put the post in our team page and in our threads. The 15th, Wednesday, if you're in new coach mentorship, trackers are due. It'll be under that monthly thread. On the 16th, I will be sharing a video in our new coach mentorship that's all about Emerald and building a team training. So it'll be super short, but super effective, because this weekend we have our virtual super weekend. Usually we have a quarterly meetup with all of our Beachbody friends, but because of the Rona wrecking another thing, that's okay. God is still good. We are going to do it virtually. And this Super Saturday for this quarter is all about the coach opportunity. So if you are focusing on recruiting, which I'm always like heavily, focus on your recruiting, business, building your business, that's how you get your residual income. If you have people who are interested in coaching, you're going to want to get them plugged into that event. I know that our team with Micah is doing a big kind of virtual summit together. So I'll make sure I get all those details to you too. So it's a lot going on this week. April's really busy. Things haven't changed for us, really. We're still moving forward. We're still doing our thing. We're still inspiring people. We're still following our own health and fitness journey, and we're still providing value, huge value, to all of our friends and family and the people who watch us, right? That's what it is. We share and provide value. We provide hope. We provide opportunity, and we just love people where they're at, and that's where they need it most. So I'm going to pass it over to Steph, but I am going to give you a little introduction on her. We met on Instagram last year, and she's a homeschool mom of two, right? You got two kids. She's got two babies. She's a homeschooling mom. She's an entrepreneur. She is incredible. Like, she talks about sales in a way that I've never heard anyone talk about sales before, because it's not sales. Because she goes into it about loving yourself and how you can love what you do and provide value, but how it starts with you. So she's incredible. Her goal is to help purpose-driven coaches and therapists to get visible, attract clients, and build extraordinary lives. She has a free group on Facebook called the Visionary Female Entrepreneurs. And I will also provide that link to you. It's an awesome group. She shares tons of great and amazing content. And you'll pick up as she starts to talk, if you haven't heard already. She is from the UK, so she has an amazing accent. I could totally listen to her talk forever. It's just like so soothing and lulling. But I am going to pass it over to you, Steph.
Hey guys,
welcome.
Thank you for that introduction. So good to be here with you today, and thank you, Amanda, for inviting me on. Yeah, I'm really excited to share with you all. Obviously, Amanda's told me loads about you guys, what you do individually and how you work as a team. And what I really want to bring to you today is a different way of thinking about sales, because I know when I first started out, I felt quite uncomfortable with selling, and I think that's something that a lot of us have, and particularly women. We can feel uncomfortable because we don't want to be pushing something onto somebody that they don't want. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about is how to reframe that. And I'm a hypnotherapist, that's my background. So I'm very much used to helping people look at situations, but looking at them in a different lens. And that's what I always say to people: the difference between you being a really successful salesperson and the other person is simply down to how they feel about themselves, how they feel about the product, and how they connect with the person that they're selling to. And that's all it is. And I'm going to keep it as simple as possible, because for me, simplicity is the key. When something's simple, it flows easily, and the people you are dealing with will feel that coming from you. So there's three things that I like to talk about in my system are connection, solution, and strategy. So starting off with connection. Connection is to yourself, and it is to your client, your potential client. And Amanda mentioned it in the introduction about love, and love is something that I talk about a lot. So when we serve from a place of love, when we are connecting with people from a place of love, when we are giving them value without expectation, people feel that. And that's what we're going to work on today. So I would love to know, if I can on the chat, I'd love to hear from you guys, what made you join up originally to Beachbody and doing what you're doing now? That's really helpful for me to understand, what made you join? Can't hear you, Amanda.
Unmute. I was going to say, I'll unmute everyone too.
Thank you, that'll be great. So I'll go for you, Sandra. What made you join up originally?
I had not worked out for 23 years, and then I had gastric bypass surgery and lost 120 pounds, and I worked out like crazy for 3 years, and then my dad died, and before I knew it, 4 years had gone by and I hadn't worked out again. And I saw a friend doing these workouts on Facebook, a friend of my son's, and after watching her and talking to her for months, I finally decided to join up as a coach, and that was 4 years ago. I'm almost 68 years old, so I was almost 64 at that time. And I don't know, I was just feeling like, oh my God, this is the rest of my life, and I need to stay fit. I have 5 grandchildren, and enough is enough, and I need to change my life so I can be alive longer, hopefully, for them. And that's where it started.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing story. And how do you feel that's worked out for you? So you said you've been doing it for 4 years. Is it something that you're really passionate about, that you love talking to people about?
Oh yeah, it's like, how come I didn't discover this before? I mean, I've done a lot of stuff in my life. I won't go into that now. But when I discovered doing this, how I felt about myself, working out and eating good. And after losing weight, it took me 10 years. It was last year that I finally decided to do the last part of my journey, which was skin removal surgery. And it took me a long time because I'm thinking, why at my age do I need to have, a tummy tuck and arms and all that? And it was just, I wanted to feel good about myself for the first time in my life. I never felt good enough. And that's been the change in me. I finally feel complete and like I'm the person that I'm supposed to be now.
Oh, that's just so amazing to hear you say that. Honestly, God, that's really touched me. And that thing where you said, you feel good about yourself for the first time in your life, like that really resonates with me. Obviously, I don't do what you guys do, but that change in me where I valued myself and I put my health first, that was the whole start of my journey to get to where I am today. And I made a few notes around what you said there, and the words that you have said are so powerful. And tuning into those reasons, like, who wouldn't you want to tell about that? Like, it's the most amazing gift that you have experienced through this program, and really focuses on what brought you to it originally and why you want to share it with other people. And imagine the impact that can then have on other people that you speak to. So what would you say is your biggest challenge at the moment when chatting to people?
I'm not really sure what the issue is. I have lots of people saying that I'm so motivating, but I have yet to have people join me in doing anything. I almost had a couple last week, but one is waiting till the end of the month to talk to her doctor. And the other one, when she tried to sign up, got frustrated because she didn't know how to do a password and all that. So I've been following up with her, and she is going to do it after all, but not yet. She's going to do it sometime soon, hopefully. But I don't know. I mean, I share my story and all these, and I get tons of responses, but no one is showing up. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. So no one quite taking the opportunity.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you for that. And how about you, Hayley? I can see you're unmuted. What's your story?
So I had been watching Amanda. We were Facebook friends. We connected. I have a T18 child as well. And so we connected that way. And then I just kept seeing all of these wonderful motivation posts. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, wow, she is so inspiring. She's so motivating. Like, I would just find myself watching her post and everything, and I didn't know what exactly she was doing. I didn't know it was Beachbody or, anything. But my nephew's knocking on my door. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Can you go to someone
It's okay. I'll go to Lacey and we'll come back to you.
Okay, hold on.
Hi, Lacey.
Hey, I had to mute.
I can see you've got a little one. Are you okay to talk?
So I'm the homeschool mom of 6 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I had it muted, because my brood's crazy. So I found Amanda 3 years ago on Instagram because she was just this pregnant mom rocking it, and her energy just drew me. And so I've gone back and forth for the last 3 years on and off doing workouts and everything. And as I'm being called deeper into ministry, I'm such a homebody. I've lost where I reach out and connect with people, which is why I decided to join in on this opportunity right now, because it's a way to help me grow, not only, in coaching, but in ministry, and just to go forth that way. Because like they say, you're the sum of what the 5 people you're surrounded with daily. And well, I'm surrounded by my kids 24/7. So mama needs some time to interact with other humans.
Yeah, definitely. And it brings both those things together then, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. And Hayley, you back now?
Yes. Okay. So I just, I kept catching myself watching Amanda's almost said footage, but her timeline and everything. And then, she reached out to me, and it was a time where, because I had also spent a year with my baby in the hospital. And so we just got home the end of last year, and I was just needing something to motivate me, and I'm struggling with it, honestly. Like I'm still trying to work on my planner here, and I teach virtually in the mornings. And so I do work from home, but now with the quarantine, I have my 9-year-old home. And I think when that happened, everything just kind of, like I had everything in my mind the way it was supposed to be. And then that happened. And so I started slipping. So I'm still hanging in, and I'm doing my very best right now, but I just needed that motivation, and I needed to do something different, because I love to exercise once I get a routine going. So I just wanted to get back healthy. I just had a baby, and then the mindset, that part of it really captured me, because I definitely need to work on mindset.
Well, that's, we're going to be talking about today.
And depression. So
yeah. And you know what, Hayley, for everybody it is mindset. Even if you've got a really successful business, people reach a level, and to get to that next level, we have to go back inside and do the inner work. So that is the same for everybody. And the techniques that I'm going to give you today, I would say you keep them on hand, because you will use them and you will get to a level, and then you will plateau, and then it's a case of going back. And this is something that I see myself and my clients. You get to a certain level, and then you do a bit more inner work. You're like, I thought I dealt with that, but obviously not. It's still there. And these things come up and up and up again, and it's just a case of taking it each step. And it's been, I always believe the way that me and Amanda met, the fact that we met online, I always think there's a reason why people connect in that way. And hearing the 3 of you, your stories are so different, so completely different. And the people that you will attract in because of your stories will probably be very different as well. You can tell just from that short conversation that I've had with each one of you, you've all got a really powerful story that's unique to you. And that is what people are going to buy into. And the more that we can love ourselves and love our story, the more that people will connect with you on an authentic level. So whenever we're not selling, as long as we've got a good product, which we know that you guys have, then it does come back to how you're feeling about yourself and how we manage all the other stuff that's going on externally. So thank you for sharing, ladies. I really appreciate that. That's going to help me tailor the sessions to you. So thinking about that connection with yourself, one of the first things that I do when I'm working with people is to go deep and check in with yourself, because often we're so busy, and particularly when we're building a business, I think it can be very much about push and trying to call people in, I must get these sales and I must hit these targets, when actually the best thing to do is just to have some quiet time and check in with yourself. And because of my background, the subconscious is really powerful. That's something that's really important to me. It's why I talk about it. And when we aren't putting ourselves out there, well, there's a barrier between how we're connecting with people. It always comes back to stories from our past. And when we can connect in and identify those stories, then we can work to release them. I can see you nodding, Hayley, so that obviously resonates with you, and you, Amanda. You know, it is from my own journey. Those stories, every time that something has happened to us in our past, positive or negative, it creates an imprint on us. I keep this actually here to show people. So usually I have like an elastic band, but every time something happens, it kind of squishes up a bit. And then something else happens and it squishes us up even more. And we're still there and we're still whole, but we are very much different to how we were when we were born, when we were free and without judgment. So just having to think about that. And when we think about those judgments, those experiences that have happened to us, it means that we are not being our true selves, because we are thinking that people are going to judge us because of what's happened to us. So if it's okay with you guys, what I'd like you to do is do a little exercise with you, if that's okay, Amanda. Yeah? So I just invite you all to just sit up a little bit, put your hand on your heart. I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes. Just take a nice slow deep breath in, and then let it out through your mouth. And as you do that, just let your shoulders relax down. Just do that again in your own time. I'm just going to ask you a question. I want you to take a couple of seconds to think about it. When you're thinking about growing your business and approaching people, I just want to ask you a question. What would you do if you weren't afraid? I just want you to sit with that for a few minutes, a few seconds. How would you act? How would you show up? How would you speak to people if you weren't afraid of rejection or judgment, what people thought? If you just want to open your eyes, if you have got a pen and paper, maybe just write a note of what came up for you. I'm not going to ask you to share it, this is your private stuff. But that exercise is so powerful to help bring to the surface the things that are holding us back. And it may be that nothing came up for you then, it's very quick, but it's something that you can come back to. And it's something that use it time and time again. When I find that I'm feeling nervous or I'm holding back on myself, my business, just use that exercise, go to my heart, what is it that I'm scared of? And it 9 times out of 10 for me, it always comes back to judgment, fear of judgment, fear of rejection. And when you think back to how humans used to live, we used to have to be in a pack, like we had to be part of a pack, part of a community. So fear of rejection is part of our DNA, it's part of our genetics. It's so important, because if we got rejected by the group, by the tribe, we wouldn't survive. So that fear of rejection is so inbred into us. And what I'd say to you is just spend some time with that simple exercise. Drop out of your head into your heart. What would I do if I wasn't afraid? And it helps you to see what's coming up for you. And then from there, you can then start doing some work to unpick it. And there's different exercises that you can do. And if you message me, it's too much to go into now, but if you message me, I can certainly point you in the right direction. Because for me, that is the real key to unlocking things that are holding us back. Because yourself, if you meet somebody who isn't very confident, who, for whatever reason, it's quite hard to buy into them. Conversation would be quite difficult. If they were trying to sell something to you, like how would that go? If they're not confidently talking to you about the product, are you going to be confident about it? It's the more that we can love ourselves and grow our own confidence, the more easily people will feel confident in you and the services that you've got to offer. And a key phrase that I use all the time is selling is service. So I think historically we all used to think of that car salesman that's really cheesy and pushy and doesn't take no for an answer. And we identify sales with that type of person. None of us want to be that kind of person. So we are going to have a barrier. We are going to, because we don't want to be seen like that. with working with your subconscious and hypnotherapy, what you can do is reframe that. So by changing selling is service, you know, calling it that, because it's the opportunity for someone to work with you on a deeper level. And you all gave me amazing examples of why you decided to take that step. It wasn't because you felt pressured into it. You know, you all talk passionately about how it's changed your life or will change your life and why you want to do it. So seeing that as an opportunity that you can then share with other people really is powerful to shifting your mindset from seeing it as something that you're pushing onto someone who doesn't want it to actually, this is the most amazing opportunity. Like, you know, your story, Sandra, really inspiring. You know, how many people are in even younger than you, 50s, who are thinking it's too late for them. Well, it isn't. You know, they've got their whole life ahead of them. So really tapping into what it is that made you make that leap. Think about the experience that you had. And, you know, I know Amanda well, so I know that it would have just been the most engaging, heartfelt, energetic exchange. And that's what it is. It's an energetic exchange. So you being and bringing that energy to the conversation, you have to be the most excited person. And Amanda absolutely is, like every time I see her face. But you have to be your own person. You know, I'm not naturally a really loud person. That wouldn't work for me. So it's about finding you know, really tuning into who you are, what's important to you, and what's your why. You know, why are you doing this? So when I speak to clients, I always talk about two types of why. So you want the why for you. So that might be, you know, financial. It's absolutely fine to want to have a financial security and, you know, support for your family and being confident in that being a reason. It might be for different reasons. You know, everyone's got their different reasons, but focusing in on your why. Why is running this business important to you? For yourself, but then also for the people that you're helping. That's where it's a bit different to what a lot of people talk about in coaching. It's having those two whys. So you've got your own motivation and your bigger why. So my bigger why is I'm really passionate about helping women become financially independent. I think the world desperately, particularly right now, needs women who have got spending power and a voice. And that's where my motivation comes from. Plus then, obviously, my family and the opportunities that I want to provide for them. But having those two things pulled me through. So, you know, we all have those days where we're not feeling 100%. You know, I had a day last week, particularly with everything that's going on, but tuning back into that why, you know, I've got it written up on my wall, you know, why am I doing this? There are women out there who need my help, and it just helps you to get over yourself in the nicest possible way. It helps you to cross that barrier. So rather than thinking all the things around yourself and why it's difficult, actually thinking there's people out there who need my help. You know, I can change their lives. I can help them with their health. I can help them with their wealth. I can change their families' lives. All the reasons. So building that really strong picture of the why for you and the why for them just gives you more and more reasons that actually I just need to get out my own way and help the people that I'm here to help. And it isn't about posting 1 million times a day on social media if that doesn't sit comfortably with you, but it is about being consistent. I had a coaching call with my coach today, and he said, what systems do you need to put in place so that success is inevitable? So what systems do you need to put in place so success is inevitable? And I really like that, because when you're relying upon your own personal energy all the time, it can be difficult because, you know, like we said, kids and things come up. But if you've got simple structures in place, just little things like having social media posts that you can repurpose, or having little silly jokes or questions that you can at least pop on so that you have got a presence. You know, tuning into what does the person that you are trying to resonate with, what do they want to hear from you about? I posted on my Facebook yesterday just a silly question around what's the most amount of fun you've ever had as an adult, just to get people chatting, because I think at the moment people want something lighthearted. So it's not always about telling them about the benefits, but they want some connection, they want some community. So thinking about bringing that aspect in. So when we're talking about the connection, and we're talking about the connection with self and the connection with your potential clients. And then just giving as much value as possible. Amanda touched on it, and that's something that I always recommend to people. So definitely when I first started out, I would do posts that were educational. What people want is value. They don't want to know that their life will improve if they get healthier. What they want is really clear steps from you. If you do X, Y, and Z, this is what's going to impact, how it's going to impact you. just meeting them where they are. So have a really good think about who your target person is that you want to speak to, and narrowing it down as much as possible. So when we first start out, often we speak to everybody because we're like, well, I want to help everybody. But actually what happens with that is your message doesn't hit home with anybody. So the more you can niche down, the more specific you can be. So for example, Sandra, just off the top of my head, say you decided to target women over 55 who have had weight loss surgery. That is a very specific niche, and the issues that they might be dealing with, the problems that might come up, you would have a really good understanding with. And they would be very different to, say, a young mum who's 21 and has just had her first baby. So you can see that by doing that, you're really beginning to niche down and speak directly to that person and what their problems and also what their pleasure points might be. And just giving as much value and as much service as you can. So that's the connection, that's the first part. And I would, just to finish off that section, if at any point you're feeling stuck, do that exercise, just tune back in with yourself, why am I doing this? And I've got something that it's called the passion, purpose and profit triangle. So what is it that you absolutely love, and why do you love it? What's your purpose? That's your passion. So what's your purpose? That's your whys, really, your 2 whys. And then your profit. So none of us want to be working all day, every day, selling low-end products if that isn't going to pay the bills. Looking at what you've got on offer that really aligns with your passion and your purpose and your ideal client, that is going to bring you in the most amount of profit. So working smart. And when I talk about simplicity, that's key. Looking at your offerings and just being really simple, not confusing people. I've done this before as well. I had like 4 or 5 different things that I'm marketing, different days, and it's confusing for me and it's confusing for the audience. So just being really clear, what is your focus? And it's not now, it's not forever, it's just for now. So what you're going to focus on, say, for the next week, 2 weeks, month, and have a bit of a plan in place so that your message is consistent. Because the other thing to remember is, if you are posting on social media, I think the figures are about like only 2% of people see what you post. It's a really small amount. So I help people with their confidence and their visibility. But that figure, I know, always helps my clients, because they're like, before that, they're like, I don't want to get on people's nerves and be posting all the time and put them off. And it's like, only 2% of people are seeing what you're posting, honestly. Just post and post. And if people don't like what you're posting, they'll unfollow you, and that's fine, because they're not your ideal client. Don't worry about it. The people who are your ideal client, if we think about you, Sandra, the women that you could be speaking to, they want to hear your advice. Like, you can change their life, and the more that you can go down that route of offering them service and value, the more often they're seeing your message with those very specific steps of what they can do to help themselves, the more their connection with you is going to grow. And just taking the need for the sale out of it, like, you can change their lives just by giving them value on a post or in a conversation. And that's what you're there for. And then if they do want to take it further with you, then brilliant. But you're doing it just to get that connection and to help them in the first place. And it takes the pressure off you then. I know in the past where I've been under pressure to sell, those interactions just don't connect in the same way, because I've got this energy where I feel like I need to sell, and they will pick up on that. So just letting go of that and just really focus on the value and the service really helps. So that was for connection, and then we'll move on to solution. So getting really clear on the solution that you're offering to people. How will it help them? What will it do for them? What are their pain points, but also what are their pleasure points? Now, I know a lot of marketing does rely upon targeting people's pain points, and it is important to recognize where they're at. Personally, I much prefer moving them towards what their life could be like. That's just my personal preference. Everyone does it differently. But I think there's real power in that, and particularly with the world as it is. I personally feel a moral obligation that it's important to focus on where they could be, and putting that in, recognizing where they're at, but then inspiring them to where they can be in the future. And I think particularly with the solution that you guys offer, it is really easy to see, because you are living proof of what this product has done for you, both for your family, your health and your life. People can really easily connect with that. So focus on a solution and getting so excited and confident about what it is you offer, because you have to be the most excited about it. And when people see that in you, like we all did with Amanda, her enthusiasm absolutely comes through. You want to be part of that. So just the more confident you can be on what you're selling, particularly through social media, when we're not face to face, that really comes through. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about energy and being energetic beings. So this is something I think is really important. It's a central part of what I teach. And I think it's something that's missing in a lot of coaching at the moment. And maybe a lot of people don't even realize it. But just like we talked about a little person who has been squished down and their subconscious been affected by experiences and memories, the same happens to our body. Now, we think of our body as being a physical form, but in actual fact, it isn't. In scientific terms, it is not. It is 65% water. I think they say 65% of that is oxygen, and then 99.9% is space. Like there's space between each atom. So we're a lot of space, we're a lot of water, and we're a lot of air. And changing the way we think about ourselves, so rather than thinking of us as a physical form, thinking of ourselves as an energetic being. So when we are writing a post, when we are reaching out to somebody, when we are doing a video or chatting to people, just taking notice of how you feel. Like, are you really confident about your product that you're going to be speaking to them about today? Are you really confident about how you can serve them? How are you feeling about yourself? So this will probably make you laugh, but I speak to people about vision boards. I think they're really important. And I know that Amanda's done a session for you guys on it before as well. And I think I hopped on that too. So there was a time when my vision board was out of date and I needed to update it. And I hadn't done it for about 3 months. So every time I was delivering a workshop talking about vision boards, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, yeah, you haven't done yours and it's 3 months out of date. Was my alignment fully, confidently committed with what I was saying to my people at my workshop? No, it wasn't, because I wasn't a living embodiment of what I was talking about. And that's where it comes back. I think it was you, Hayley, who said, you've struggled with the changes that have happened. And absolutely, no one could have predicted what has happened to us. But using what you're going through at the moment, and I would definitely recommend keeping a little journal of what you're going through day to day. Because what you're doing, your journey that you've got right now, will become your marketing material in 2 months' time. So if you keep how you're feeling, what emotions are coming up for you, what challenges you have got right now, and then you make a real focus to work on yourself. So how can you get back on track? What small changes do you need to make so that you are a living embodiment of what you are selling? And if you make those small changes now, we are the sum of what we are now. In 2 months' time, what we're doing now affects them. So in 2 months' time, you'll be able to look back and say, oh yeah, we had that call, and actually I was saying I was finding it really hard, but here are my step-by-steps that I've done for the last 8 weeks. And now, guys, I'm going to talk to you about exactly, this is where I was lost, I didn't know what I was doing, I have my 9-year-old at home, it was all on top of me, and here are the exact steps I took. And look at me now, and this is where I am. And that is where your inspiring story comes from, because you've all got amazing stories already, but having that transformation, going from A to B, documented down so you can use your own words. And noted down when you were talking, Sandra, you said, how come I didn't discover it before? That's such a powerful thing to say to people. It's like, this thing is here to help you, and I'm here to help you discover it, so you don't wait until you're 64 like I was. I want you to experience it now. So using your own words and explaining them back to people, and when you chat to people, I've made a note of the things that you guys have said, and when you're talking to people, listen to what they're saying. They're giving you clues all the time of what problem they need solving and what solution they want. So if you can capture what they're saying and jot it down, that's your future material to speak to them. I did a post the other day, and a lady messaged me or put on a thing. She's like, are you in my head? And that is exactly the response that you want. They want to feel like you understand them, and you do, because you've been there. We all have our own challenges. We'll overcome different things. It's about being vulnerable and going deep into ourselves so that we can connect with the people that we're trying to connect with, because we know we can help them. That's why we're doing what we're doing. We know that we can change their lives. So really getting solid on the solution and how the process, and giving them that step by step, will make a big difference. That's good to know. Amanda says that's what Angelique talks about in her marketing training. And then the last thing is strategy. So again, I think this can be something that gets lost by the wayside, particularly when we're busy, particularly in the pandemic. You know, things have been turned a bit upside down. So what we need to do is strip it right back and think about how we're going to consistently get our message out to the people that we want to. And consistency is absolutely the key to making, you know, getting success. It isn't about, I always use the example of exercise because, you know, I enjoy my exercise and it's fitting for you guys. But, you know, I couldn't go and run a marathon tomorrow. That would not be possible for me. But what I could do is go out on a small run tomorrow, a longer run the day after, a longer run the day after that. And then in 8 weeks' time or 12 weeks' time, I would be able to run a marathon. And it is about those small, consistent changes that we make every day. And that is what's going to change your life and the people that you work with. And by breaking it down into those small steps, it just seems so much more manageable. You know, that's what you want to do. You want them to see that it isn't unattainable. And that's why programs like what you guys do is so powerful, because you have such a range. It isn't just, you know, the 21-year-old who's got a six-pack and running along the beach, you know, with all bronze. It is real-life people making real-life differences. And that's what you're trying to explain to people. So the more you can tune into your story, the more they will tune into you and connect with you. And that strategy is just about thinking, right, what are my core messages? So just like I came on with you today and said my key messages that I speak to people about are connection, solution, and strategy. What are your 3 key messages that you want to get across to people? And then when you have those 3 key messages, you can put together just a really simple structure of how you communicate those on a weekly basis. It just has to be for a week. So if you think, you're thinking about mind connection, you know, how many times do I want to talk about connecting with yourself and connecting with your clients? I might say I want to do them 3 posts a week, and then the same for the other 2. So I know I've got 9 posts a week, 3 on each section, do them at different times, and, you know, hopefully people are going to see different bits. But at least it gives you a bit of a structure to work towards. And, you know, we all have those days when we're busy or hectic, particularly at the minute. If you've just got that structure, I like to do it on a Sunday, so it's just a case of a quick, like, yep, right, that's what I need to talk about. If I'm super organised, I might even draft what I'm going to talk about. But to be honest, I quite like doing them on the day, because I, again, really am passionate about the energetic exchange between me and my posts and my videos. I do personally like to do them on the day, because particularly at the moment things are changing so quickly. I think that's really important. But just having those headers means I'm not thinking, right, what am I going to talk about? And it also means that if I get inspiration in the day, I can just jot it down, and then I've got that to come back to, just making it as easy as possible. So having that down, and then thinking about who, when you've, part of that strategy is, who are you speaking to? So that would be the main thing that I would tell you to go away and focus on, is when you look at your, you know, look at your why, people you want to help, think about that passion, purpose, profit triangle. What comes in the middle of all of that? And that's, you know, that's the process that I went through. I started off being a hypnobirthing teacher, which I absolutely loved, helping people with hypnotherapy giving birth. And I loved it, but I didn't feel it was my life's calling. Then I trained and did more hypnotherapy and life coaching. Again, absolutely loved it. And I did a lot of health coaching with people. But then as I was doing sessions with people and working with women who ran their own businesses, the conversations were moved to them. And that was when I was like, this is what I love. You know, it brings together all my skills from before, and I can help them on a coaching level in terms of like how they feel about themselves, bringing in aspects that isn't covered in, I don't think, any business courses that I've seen, in terms of loving yourself and connecting with yourself. So really thinking about those things and how you can bring them all together, because that's your business sweet spot. Like when you've got your passion, your purpose, and your profit, and you've got your ideal person that you are speaking to. Oh, and that's the other thing I would add in. When you are doing posts or videos, just think about that one person. So give them a name. My lady's called Diana. How old she is, if it's a lady or a man, what her family background is, what her history is, where she works, what her exercise is, what she eats at the moment. Like, you want to know her inside out. What keeps her awake at night? What would she love to change about her life? And I was chatting to Amanda earlier on in the week, you know, at the moment, there are so many people who are at home who will be crying out for the services that you can offer, that would love to have somebody motivating them, keeping them on track, giving them exercises, helping them with their nutrition. Like, this is a key time for you guys, a real opportunity where people will be crying out for your help. So moving that shift, you know, selling a service, you're really connecting with that. There are people that need you right now. And tuning into that reason why really helps me when I'm feeling stuck, to think I need to not worry about what other people are gonna think, whatever about me. I'm here for a mission, and I've said that that's my commitment, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna get over that, and I'm gonna get out there, because there is one person out there who needs to hear what I've got to say. And just think about that one person, and it makes it so much easier to talk to her. A really great exercise to do is to write her a letter. So just write her a letter, you know, like she's your friend, and just talk to her. And you could perhaps talk about things that she's become, and things that she's looking forward to in the future. But really, you know, as if she was your friend. And that's the main thing, is talk to, when you're doing your posts, when you're doing your videos, you know, chat to people like they're their friend, because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that friendship. It isn't about that old-fashioned sales technique. It's about service and connection. And the more that you can tune into yourself and helping people from a place of love, the more that people will connect with you. So that just about covers all my main points. See a couple of things on the chat. Oh, can you give an example about what you mean about the 9 posts? Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, if you talked about your 3 topics, so minor connection, solution, strategy, you might have 3 topics. So it might be you talk about exercise, nutrition, and then wealth to people joining your team. Just off the top of my head, they could be your 3 target areas. So then you would, depending on your schedule and how much you wanted to post, think about doing 3 under each of those headers a week. But it might be different. One of my people that I follow, she says to do 4 posts a day. So her 4 posts would be educational, so helping them and giving them value, your personal story, a social proof, so a testimonial. That is, I haven't mentioned that actually, but that is just such a good way to get people to buy into what it is you're doing. Because, you know, we all love real life testimonials. You know, when we go on TripAdvisor and book a hotel, that's what we look for. So if you have got testimonials, you know, get those and share them regularly and often. And then the other one is a video. So she would say, you know, do 4 posts a day and get some traction. But what I'm going to say is, as long as it's consistent, then do what's right, you know, what feels comfortable for you. But you've got to think, if you're posting once a week, or if you're posting 4 times a day, you know, who is going to get more coverage? Who is going to get more traction? And at the end of the day, one of the things that really helped me was, how much do I want it? Like, how much do I want to help these people? And how strong is my reason why for myself and my family? And can I post 4 times a day? And I don't do it consistently, but it is in my head that that is my goal that I'm aiming towards. And I've built up to that. You know, a year ago, I didn't do any videos. I was so nervous about doing a video, but because of the internal work that I've done, I just do them without thinking about now. And that's like all these things, you know, when you're speaking to your people, it's those small steps, those small changes that then, you know, a few weeks down the line, you just do them without even thinking about it. And that's when you start getting real traction and real change. And that's what you'll see in your business as well, because a few small steps, and then all of a sudden, if things are flowing and they're flying, and when you're connected with your why and in your heart, then it just makes it so much easier. So Amanda says she's got a worksheet she can help you with. Brilliant. Does anybody have any questions that they wanted to ask?
All right, I think I unmuted everyone. I think I did. So if anyone has any questions, thank you. I had questions, but you pretty much like answered them throughout the call. Yeah. So I was like, I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm like looking at them and I'm like, oh, she already covered that. So that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so thankful that you took your time out of your day, your evening, because it's nighttime, getting ready to be dinner time over there, to speak with us today, because this was, I mean, this was so good.
One of the best calls ever.
Yeah, I think that this was so good. And it really, I think at this moment in time for us, with everything that's going on, getting back to our passion and our purpose and how to speak to people is so important right now more than ever. Because I think the last thing, and I'm sure I can speak for any single one of us on this call right now and anybody watching the recording, the last thing we want to do is be slimy, sneaky sales, you know, and like people say sales like it's such a bad thing, but I'm like, Walmart's prospering right now, you know, McDonald's is prospering right now. Why should we feel guilty for offering something that has so much value? And really we're just offering ourselves. So I love that you really just kind of help us to focus that on us instead of focusing on like selling something.
Yeah, it's a chance to work deeper with you. And as I say, there's so many people that would need your guys' help right now. You know, they're in the home. I know so many people that are posting, you know, they can't stop going in the cupboards to help themselves to food. They maybe haven't got much space to exercise. So the people need you right now, and just really focusing in to yourself and then seeing it as service, because that's what it is. It really is an opportunity to work with you at a deeper level and giving them that transformation. You focus on the transformation, that life change that you have had, that then they can have.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody else got any other questions for Steph before we let her go and hang with her fam tonight? No, I hear a motorcycle. I'm just like, zoom, zoom. It's not me. All right, you guys. Thank you, ladies, for jumping on live. Haley, did you have something?
No, that's my nephew with a chainsaw.
Oh, I thought it was a motorcycle.
He's doing yard work.
Oh, that's okay. That's nice. Thank you all for jumping on early. Next month, it'll be the second Monday of the month, again at our 8 p.m. Eastern time. Unless, you know, hey, who knows? You know what I mean? I think one of the things that we're learning now is that how we just have to be flexible and kind of fly by the seat of our pants. I call it structured unflexibility or structured flexibility, but we'll make it work. So I'll keep you posted. I will get the attraction, like how to create your dream avatar sheet into the team page and into our thread, so you guys can print those out and literally write out everything about your ideal client. Because I think that's super solid what Steph said too. If you know who you're talking to, then it makes it so much easier to post. So thank you, ladies. I'm super excited to see your faces. I love you all, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Steph.